Okay, the question is, when the Bible says God made man in his image, does that mean humans are superior? So I'm going to talk about that. All right, as a vegan advocate, when you approach a Christian mediator who wants to claim human superiority, to have to jump over that hoop and go through all that stuff, you're never going to get to discussing veganism. So there's a way you can work within what they already believe. So let's start with this. First off, God made man in his image. No problem there, which means we were made uniquely different over the animals. So I'm going to call that human exceptionalism. And a lot of Christians will do that too. You'll find that in a lot of books about from Christian mediators when they try to combat people like me. So let's work with human exceptionalism. What that means is we are exceptionally different, but that doesn't mean speciesism. Speciesism is a corruption of human exceptionalism. Let me explain. Let's say you're driving home in your car and you're listening to the radio. All right, newscaster comes in, pops in, interrupts your favorite tune, whatever, and says, news break, there's a crazy gun shooter that's killed 2 kids at the blah, blah, blah school. You're freaking out. You're totally freaking out because your kid goes to that school. What's the first thing you probably do after you freak out? Do you say, please God, please let the shooter kill my child so that no other child gets hurt? No. Oh, chances are you're praying that your kid's safe, which means if there's 2 kids already dead, that means you're praying some other kids are dead. Now, it doesn't mean you think your child is superior to the other kids. It doesn't mean you think that, maybe you do think he's better, but you get the idea. It's not that you think your human child is better than someone else's human child. It's just because of your relationship with your child, the one that was made in your image, he is exceptionally made to you. So when God said he made man in his image, we were exceptionally made apart from the animals. It doesn't mean we're better or worse than the animals, because he made the animals out of the same dirt, out of the same earth that he made the humans. He breathed the same breath of life in humans, nefesh chayim, that he breathed into animals. So we're the same, but we're exceptionally different. And is that kind of making sense? So when we get into animal sacrifice in the Bible, when people were doing human sacrifices, God's like, here, sacrifice this animal instead. It wasn't because animals were lesser. It's because of that exceptionalism, that relationship. Okay, that's human exceptionalism. A perversion of exceptionalism, okay, that's speciesism. And that's where we just sit and go, well, we can chop up something else because it's different than us and into little pieces and eat it. That's speciesism. That's a perversion of exceptionalism. Exceptionalism is just a relationship that God has with mankind. Also, by keeping that stance that I just kind of described, when you're talking to a Christian mediator, what you can do is use that as kind of like a pressure release valve. All right? Because by having that exceptionalism and accepting it as a vegan advocate, you now have a reason to not feel guilty. I mean, to not feel guilty every time you step on an ant. All right? Because you're exceptional, but you're not better. I'm not saying we're equal to ants. I don't want to get into that, but you get the idea. We're made different than the ant. We don't have to feel guilty. I mean, we might not feel good about it, but if we're driving down the road and a bird swoops in front of our van and we accidentally kill it, you can feel bad about it, but you don't have to feel guilty. It's that exceptionalism. So God kind of gave us that exceptionalism and that difference as a safety release valve so that we can live a compassionate life as practicable as possible. Because let's face it, no vegan's going to be able to walk the earth and never kill a single thing. It's just, we live in a fallen world. It's going to happen. So I think this human exceptionalism God arranged for us for a reason. It gives us peace of mind. It allows us to operate in a fallen world without feeling guilt every single minute of the day for whatever accident may happen. But it doesn't put animals at a level where they're just disposable property. It puts them equal, but just uniquely different. Just like we're uniquely different to God, animals are uniquely different to us. So why did God make us a little bit lesser than him? And the animals a little bit maybe lesser than us? If we want to go with that lesser argument, think about it like this. Since animals were made for human companionship, you come home from that hard day at work, kick back on the couch, crank on the TV, your dog comes in. No matter how bad your day is, when that dog comes in and lays down next to you and snuggles up with you, oh man, everything's groovy. Well, God made us kind of like that too. I'm not saying we're his pets, but even though we're not the same as God, we're made a little bit lesser, we're a little bit different, we can bring him that love and that kind of comfort, that kind of joy, just like the animals bring to us. So, follow? Right? It all works into the scheme of things. Keep this in mind when you're doing your vegan advocacy with Christian meat eaters, and play around with it. You might find it works for you. It's been really successful for me. Probably more successful when I do it on the streets, because right now I probably didn't explain it real good because I'm freaking hyped up right now on 6 cups of coffee because I've been writing all night and I've been sitting at my favorite cafe doing it. Any of my Instagram friends, hey, you've seen me drinking coffee all the time. So, all right, enough of that. Bye.